The world is upside down, and we have to show people how they can become awakened to what's really going on. It's a very difficult task, but how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. This is Mary Ellen Moore for INFOWARS.com. As many of you INFOWARS listeners know, there is a banking, a medical, and a petrochemical conspiracy against the American people. This all goes back to the AMA, the American Medical Association, that was formed back in 1847. And at that time, there was only a very, very small percentage of doctors who were performing what we call heroic medicine or allopathic medicine. Most doctors were homeopathic at that time. But this club that was formed, the AMA, only allowed doctors who were practicing allopathic medicine into their private club. Around 1900, everybody's favorite robber baron, John D. Rockefeller, basically said competition was a sin, took over the entire medical profession, and turned it into the medical monopoly that we have today. The trick was how he revamped the system from a homeopathic system into an allopathic system was the key to the whole practice of what we know today as modern medicine. Rockefeller's goal was to monopolize the pharmaceutical and the petrochemical industry all into one. John D. Rockefeller's company was Standard Oil at the time. He managed to take over controlling interest in IG Farben, which was Germany's biggest drug maker. And we'll save the Hitler connection for another show. But the final alliance that John D. Rockefeller made was with J.P. Morgan and Andrew Carnegie. So you can see he already had his minions set in place with the banking industry. So the Rockefellers directly took control of all the drug companies, and then all the directors of that cancer crypt called Sloan Kettering.
Hello Internet, my name is JC Barber, and here I am at the scene of the mass GMO slave factory that we know as Walmart. As you can see, here I am walking down the food aisle, and it's important to take note that most of these food items primarily contain sugar at their core, either that or some artificial sweetener. What's even scarier is that there is a new artificial sweetener in town called Neotame. You can read the full report at INFOWARS.com, but Neotame is like aspartame's Big Daddy, which is 13,000 times sweeter than sugar and even more toxic. But the punchline here is that there is no labeling requirements for this sweetener, which means it could be in any one of these products without us knowing. So the question you're probably asking is, why does this even matter? Or why does it matter if there's sugar in all these products? Could sugar be a mass-controlling tool of the elite? Well, first we must understand what sugar does to the body. Look, let's start with a single tablespoon of sugar. It only takes a tablespoon or two to create a sugar spike in your body. Researchers from the University of California, San Francisco have found that adults consume about 8 tablespoons per day and teens 12.
Announcing our biggest contest ever. And we're looking for people who love freedom and who want to be all in the resistance to tyrants. So you say you want to fight the New World Order. Why, if you were on the radio, if you were Alex Jones, you'd really kick some globalist ass. Well, here's your chance. We're hiring not one, but 2 new reporters, whose reports are going to be on the radio, whose reports are going to be on the nightly news, who will even anchor the show. If you're ready, here's your chance to step into my shoes, and I hope you surpass what I've done. 2 winners, $10,000 in prizes, and a shot to be a reporter inside the INFOWARS.com command center. We're looking to hire 1 male reporter and 1 female reporter. And when you win $5,000. Your video gets seen by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people on YouTube, and you get put into the very front of the running to be hired as a reporter / anchor right here in our operation. Do you have what it takes to be the next Info Warrior? The rules are posted below me here and at INFOWARS.com. This is a big deal. You know, the globalists are expanding their global empire, but at the same time, the people are waking up all over the world. We've expanded our operations in the last year. We've added the nightly news 5 nights a week. We're making more special reports. We're reaching 15 million people every week. In a year, I want that to be 30 million. This is your chance to join the team. I want to see what you can do. But a big hint is this. Can your news piece make the news? Does it get people's attention? Does it educate people? Does it open minds? That's more important than being beautiful or speaking with perfect eloquence as an orator. All of that is important. But we're looking for people that have that magic spark, that fire of liberty in their heart. Because I want you to join our team. I want to give you a launch pad so you can really take off and engage the globalist. And if this works, we'll have contests all the time, and we'll continue to build this operation. I'm involved in a talent search, looking for people who have the fires of liberty burning in their hearts and their minds. You've got until April 30th to complete your news report, and then we'll announce the winners 1 week later. Are you going to join the InfoWar? Do you have what it takes? It's up to you. All serious entries will be posted on INFOWARS.com. So everybody wins. You're getting the message of liberty out, and that's what really matters. But in the final equation, it's not about showing Alex Jones what you got. It's about showing the world and the globalist that no army can stop an idea whose time has come. Join me in the InfoWar. So you say you want to fight the InfoWar. You say you want to go head up against the New World Order. You can do a better job than Alex Jones? I know you can. And here's your chance to prove your mettle. Sick of the globalist eugenicist control freaks adding poison to your water and laughing as you get sick and die? Start purifying your water with ProPure. My friends, I've done a lot of research, and the best gravity filter out there, bar none, is ProPure, and it's available discounted at InfoWars.com. Its filters are silver impregnated to prevent bacterial growth. There's no priming required. It's NSF 42 certified. Optional fluoride filters can reduce fluoride up to 95%. Easy to set up and use. Doesn't require electricity. Purify water from lakes, streams, ponds, and wells. This filter system leaves in beneficial minerals, which is key. Save money by not buying bottled water and avoid BPA that leaches from the plastic. ProPure is the best gravity-fed filter out there. It's what my family uses. InfoWars.com already has the lowest price on ProPure. But if you add the promo code WATER at checkout, you get an additional 10% off at InfoWars.com. You can also call to order 888-253-3139.
You ready? Thank you, Fred. Thank you. All right, let me gain myself. That threw me off slightly. I was almost ready. I'm Aaron Dykes. This is the InfoWars Nightly News, and we are back from break. We're joined now by a researcher who's become one of our main contributors as well. That is Jurrien Masson, and he's here to discuss the Bilderberg Group, the larger population reduction agenda, and more. He joins us from the Netherlands. Thanks for joining us, Jurrien.
Thanks for having me.
So we just broke the story today. It's up on InfoWars. Sources so far are indicating the meeting will most likely be held in Chantilly, Virginia, here in the United States. It's been 4 years. They, of course, split their meetings between Europe and the United States. We'll follow up on that source to see if it is the true location, because they do a lot of bait and switching and deception, but it is a very likely spot. So with that, let's talk about the upcoming Bilderberg Group meeting and what their agenda is likely to be.
Their agenda is likely to be a continuation, I think, of the agenda we already know. That's population reduction, a large part of that. And to get this done, the entire economical, political system has to be arranged in such a way that it facilitates such a massive reduction.
Absolutely. And of course, they have demography groups that meet every year. They have United Nations Population Fund groups that attend Bilderberg regularly. You've got the Rockefeller Foundation, who've really been the core driving the eugenics agenda over the past century. Now the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is a major player in pursuing that eugenics agenda. They don't attend every year, but they tend to attend every 1 to 2 to 3 years. So we're likely to see them there. A lot of the top tech giants come, as well as, of course, the heads of state and the office, the officials in various departments as well from both Europe and the United States. And that's definitely something they have planned. Of course, Agenda 21 is back on the agenda this year because it's the 20-year anniversary of the summit in Rio, which is all about sustainable development, economic growth, greening everything. But it also is in a large component about population reduction. And we've got one of our staff members, John, just showed me earlier today how the President's Council on Sustainable Development here in the United States, set up for the Agenda 21, is not only pursuing sustainable development, but stabilizing the U.S. population. It's right here in writing, put into the agenda from Bill Clinton as well as the elder George Bush. And that's just here in the U.S. They're openly doing it all across the rest of the world, particularly in the developing areas.
Right, they all seem to move in unison. All the arms of the scientific dictatorship now. You see it in every country. You see it almost simultaneously. That's not a coincidence, of course. That's pre-planned. Of course, the calls for deindustrialization of the developed world is also a theme that regularly comes up, and it's all being done under under perfectly decent euphemisms. Let's say sustainability, save the planet, and all that. We know from their own documents that's just euphemisms for mass death.
Yeah, and that's something to bring up, too. You've got the article yesterday. It's right here. Professor depicts blood-depicting knife machine gun while talking population control. And this is a Professor John Guillebaud from University College. He's an emeritus professor, and he's coined the term population matters. And the point he's trying to make is that, yes, these are euphemisms. He openly admits they use different terms as code for population control. And he's saying, just do away with the code. Let's come out in the open and tell people what we're doing. I've got another book here that goes along with that. It's the RAND Corporation's report on the origin and evolution of family planning programs in developing countries. And this is eugenics. They've changed the name dozens of times over the years. After World War II, it became population control. That became a buzzword that people learned to avoid. So they came up with these other terms: reproductive health, women's issues, sustainable development, and on and on. They've literally coined these terms every couple of years at United Nations meetings. So please get into that and the details of your article.
Yes, this Guillebaud fellow, he's actually quoted as saying, while showing a depiction of a blood-dripping knife and a machine gun, he said, please don't say population control. That's what he literally said. Say any other thing. Use my phrase, population matters. So that's a nice little tinkling. But never say population control. That's what he said. Then there was this gentleman over in the 2006 gathering organized by the German Development Bank. Present were the United Nations Population Fund and all the other usual suspects, World Bank, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, of course, where this professor of medical demography at the London School of Hygiene, John Cleland, indeed admitted that all modern-day language used in relation to this agenda they seek to pursue is actually code. No more shrouding our statements in code. That's what he said, because code just confuses people. Very interesting, because it's all euphemism, and here he actually admits to it.
And you also point out it's what they call a thinly veiled threat. They say, quote, reduce human population numbers voluntarily or else. That's actually your summation.
The world is upside down, and we have to show people how they can become awakened to what's really going on. It's a very difficult task, but how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. This is Mary Ellen Moore for INFOWARS.com. As many of you INFOWARS listeners know, there is a banking, a medical, and a form. The AMA only allowed doctors who were practicing allopathic medicine into their private club. Around 1900, everybody's favorite robber baron, John D. Rockefeller, basically said competition was a sin, took over the entire medical profession, and turned it into the medical monopoly that we have today. Take over controlling interest in IG Farben, which was Germany's biggest drug maker. And we'll save the Hitler connection for another show. But the final alliance that John D. Rockefeller made was with J.P. Morgan and Andrew Carnegie. So you can see he already had his minions set in place with the banking industry. So the Rockefellers directly took control of all. The trick was how he revamped the system from a homeopathic system into an allopathic system was the key to the whole practice of what we know today as modern medicine. Rockefeller's goal was to monopolize the pharmaceutical and the petrochemical industry all into one. John D. Rockefeller's company was Standard Oil at the time. He managed to take a petrochemical conspiracy against the American people. This all goes back to the AMA, the American Medical Association, that was formed back in 1847. And at that time, there was only a very, very small percentage of doctors who were performing what we call heroic medicine or allopathic medicine. Most doctors were homeopathic at that time. But this club that was